Good morning, gamers. Oh, what a great day it is. Since I haven't made, a dozen videos about overclocks in the last couple weeks, here's one more for you. Hopefully, this will be the last one. So, if you didn't get a chance to check the anniversary stream today, one of the things that was mentioned was a minor rework to how overclocks are rewarded in Deep Rock. Unfortunately, they're still live while I'm recording this, so I can't pull the clips explicitly, but here's what you need to know. Now, whenever you promote a class, you'll receive one blank core, one infused weapon overclock for any class, and one infused cosmetic core for any class. The devs did clarify on stream that this will not be limited to the class that you're promoting. In a way, I wish they were limited to the class you were promoting, but the fact that machine events do let you be elective in which class you're picking, I think that gives the machine events a unique property, whereas promoting gives you a bulk of cores. And I really gotta give Ghost Ship props on this. They solved a problem that I didn't really even think about that often, is that promoting really doesn't offer a tangible reward to most mid-level players. I've been asked plenty of times by bronze and silver players, like, why should I keep promoting? What's the point? Like, I really don't care about the badges, I just want to keep playing the game. Well, now there's an answer. It costs money, but it gives you more cores. So, in a way, I think this is even better than just leaving the core hunt reset exploit in the game, in that it actually solves another problem at the same time, while also completely resolving the issue that I was having with the exploit that was fixed recently. In hindsight, I do, to a degree, apologize for being so overtly negative in my last video. I was just a bit frustrated with how long, just the absurd amount of time that the overclock grind has been completely unaddressed. They did add the Forge Mastery selection a while back, but that really just felt like it wasn't really doing anything to solve the problem. This does. And we can make arguments all day about how much time you realistically need to play each week to get a meaningful amount more cores than just waiting for the weekly reset to reset and all this. But at the bottom line, at the end of the day, we can have those conversations, and I'd like to do that math and figure out just how great this change is. But in a really, primal, right down to basics level, this is the solution to the problem that I've been looking for. Once we do the math, we'll know whether or not it's even OP, maybe. Maybe it's too much. But the point being, there is now a way for legitimate players and people who want to play more every week to accelerate the overclock grind. And a lot of people always said, oh, everyone's just gonna burn through the game in a week and be done with it and get all the overclocks. One blank and one weapon overclock per promotion performed is not gonna let you get through this game in a week. It will still take uninterrupted, probably literally months of playtime to get through all the cores if you were getting them all in a 2-month period. You would have to be playing the game 12 to 14 hours a day, and that's just a rough estimation, which obviously no one's doing. So realistically, the overclock grind still takes, less than 22 weeks now, but somewhere between a month and 4 months. So automatically, I'm really happy about this, needless to say. And once again, just to say, I think the negative tone in my last video came off so harsh because so long I've talked about this and I've brought up this issue over and over and over again and said how unreasonable it is for new players and how little agency players are given in affecting the content that they are getting access to and being able to play. Even if this was just a change to give one singular blank core per promotion, I would have been able to throw up my hands and say, hey, at least there's something. At least there's some way to accelerate the grind. This is far and away greater than anything I would have ever bargained for. This is exactly what I wanted. This is essentially the core hunt reset exploit without having to do the core hunt again. So it not only does it feel like a reward for promotion, it fixes the overclock grind, and god damn, why did it take this long? I'm not going to be a negative in this video. I'll leave it right at that. I'm still stunned that it took this long for this change to be made, and I'm upset that it had to come to such a head and have an exploit be fixed and upset people that were interested in grinding the game. But goddamn, we finally got to the solution we needed. And that has me over the moon, absolutely. And I think this is the first step in Ghost Ship actually understanding, I can't speak for them, but this is where they're going to hopefully start to understand that there are people that play this game every day. And whether your opinion on those people or not is that they should touch grass is irrelevant. I don't play this game as much as mid-level, sub-level 100 players do anymore. I don't have a lot of time personally in my personal life right now, and I'd like to play the game more than I do. So even though I'm not directly affected by the overclock grind, I can sympathize with the people that are. Point being, I've been the guy that was grinding this game 40, 50, 60 hours a week while working a full-time job. How you do that, let's not talk about the grass-related sacrifices that were made to make that happen. Point being, I really am happy for the people that are able to and want to grind this game all day, every day, and push out this stuff and get the content and play more and play faster and be better and try new builds. It's so great to see. In the past, we've seen Ghost Ship give feedback to certain changes and put them into the game, but predominantly they were, game-breaking bug fixes or in some way roleplay related, as painful as that is to say. But this is where it really feels like the first time that in my recent memory they've actually directly addressed people that are grinding their game and are playing more than a casual player. And God, it's great to see it. And it gives me a lot of hope for the direction the game's going to go in the future with hopefully more invested player content. And I know that's hard to do from the perspective of someone who's making a, not to insult anyone, predominantly casual populated game. I got nothing but respect for people that can only make time to play or only want to play Deep Rock a couple hours a week. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's why this is such a great solution, because it doesn't punish anyone for playing less. This isn't turning the weeklies and breaking them up into daily assignments and requiring people to play every day. That would have been a disgusting change, and I would have been as opposed to that as I was to the exploit getting fixed. This, giving the reward to the more dedicated players while leaving the baseline system intact, is exactly what I was looking for, and I'm absolutely overjoyed to see it come the way that it did. That being said, I hope we can continue on this trajectory of focusing on the more gameplay-focused bugs and glitches and things like armor break, and focusing more on things that optimize the way the game plays, the game feels. And I don't want to explicitly say making missions go faster, but maybe doing what we did with Industrial Sabotage and sort of dialing back just a little bit, not to remove the challenge, the parts of the mission that involve just waiting around, that there's no skill curve involved in, or there's nothing that the player can do, and there's nothing interesting for the player to do in those time windows. For example of this, I wanted to say that surviving the swarm while waiting for the pod to open and salvage, on Hazard 5, that is an actual, meaningful part of the mission, because that infinite swarm that comes pouring in on you during that portion of the mission is significant. There's a lot of bugs, and sometimes only one person will actually live through it, or people will have to pop Iron Will to get into the pod. But whenever you put yourself in that scenario, waiting for the pod to open on salvage on a difficulty like Hazard 2 or 3, there's really not much to do except stand around. And I'm not asking for it to be more difficult or anything. I don't want to gatekeep or force lower difficulty players to play something they don't want to play, but I think this is a great point to sort of open this conversation up to certain parts of the game that are slowed down for, I would say, unnecessary reasons. I know there's a huge difference between how many overclocks you can get every week and having to wait an extra 30 seconds on a salvage mission, but I think that those little changes that could be made like that would also introduce some more nuance into the way the difficulties play in the game. Say, having the pod timer to wait for the pod to power up be 30 seconds on Hazard 2, and 40 seconds on Hazard 3, and a minute on Hazard 4, and a minute 30 on Hazard 5 would... I'm not sure I would be thrilled about having the longest wait time on my preferred difficulty, but it would add some nuance to different difficulties and how they interact with some missions. This is just coming off the top of my head right now because I didn't just want to say overclock change good and sign off the video, because I always like to try to put something out there to give something to build off of. But overall, I don't want to diminish the tone of this video by saying like, oh, that's good, but how about we do something to salvage? How about we do something to this? How about we do something to that? This has placated me for at least a week or so. You probably won't hear any massive complaining from me for a minute. So maybe tomorrow. I'm kidding. But seriously, this is a great thing. And I'm happy that Ghost Ship was able to turn this and get us word on this in a short amount of time. Shout out to the Redditors that were actually raising hell about this. I don't know if it was anything to do with the video that I made or if they came to this conclusion on their own. I don't have that level of ego to say, well, everyone that knows about it from me. No. But I hope that to some degree I was able to help make this change happen, because this is a massive benefit to new players, and I'm so happy about it, because now I can in good faith say to my friends and the people I work with and people I'm trying to get into this game to say, yeah, there's stuff to do every week, there's a weekly reset, there's new seeded missions that are super hard, it's 3 missions back to back, and every time you promote you get some new toys to play with. See, I can just weave that in. I can just weave that into my pitch to sell the game, and I no longer have to say, yeah, so we need to get you promoted as soon as possible because we need to get you in the weekly reset, because the more weeks you miss, the longer it's going to take you to get everything. I don't even have to think about that anymore. Sure, getting more overclocks another week earlier would be good, but I don't have to feel that guilt anymore to say, like, you missed a week, I don't want you to miss this. You know, I think I'm overthinking that, but you see what I'm saying there? Is, no matter how this is balanced, no matter if it's a lot more cores than we think it's going to be or a lot less than we think it's going to be, it is something. It's something. And it's so heartwarming to see, after all this time, Ghost Ship finally, I hate to say crack, but maybe concede to the community and say, hey, look, we can tell you're passionate about this. We can tell that you're playing the game enough to want to do more. Like, it's a feedback loop. We already want to play the game, but now we want to play the game even more. Now we have more objectives, not just every week, but at all times. There's always something to do. There's always something to get. Oh, man, it's like, this is the kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that was keeping the game, like, thriving and rolling when I first started playing. There was always something like this, where it's like, hey, we see that this something about this machine event is weird, or something like that. So we're just gonna buff it up. We're just gonna, oh, we see that the deep dive glitched out for somebody, so we're just gonna reset it, and if you already got the cores, cool, here's some more cores. It feels like we were missing that for a long time, and changes like this, changes exactly like this, are what it feels like I as a player, and the opinions that I have for the trajectory of the game are being heard. Because as many controversial takes as I have, I don't necessarily think the boomerang needs to be buffed to make the game good, and I really don't stand by all the things I said in the Update 34 balancing video anymore. But for the entire time that I've been a part of this game, whether I was before, in, or after the overclock grind, I have always been adamantly opposed to it, and I take the current, or the previous balancing of the overclock grind as a oblique negative that is really not something you can rationalize unless you were just gatekeeping new players. So seeing something finally be done about it and to have that opinion validated is very reassuring. Is that I'm actually, you know, doing something good for people. As high as the tempers were, it was very reassuring to see so many new players that were in the grind being very vocal after that exploit was fixed on the subreddit, saying, like, hey, I want to do more. I want to get more, and please give me the opportunity to. And I think other than myself, those players also feel extremely heard right now. Because for as long as the game's existed, we've always had the Ghost Ship closing out update logs with saying rock and stone. That makes the RP community feel heard. But it's the things like this that really, like, tactfully make the people that are pushing the game and understanding, like, how to get the most out of it that we feel like we're being spoken to whenever changes like this are made. We understand that they understand where we are. They know the grind is how it is. They know what we're doing when we can't get more cores. And now that gives us more cores. You see what I'm saying? Like, ah, man. I've said enough. I've really talked in circles here, but for every negative thing that I say, I want people to understand that it's underpinned with passion. I speak with a lot of frustration and exasperation on some topics because I see how damn close to perfect this game is, and the fact that it just regresses little bits and little pieces in certain places with certain changes is maddening to me. And this is a huge step in the right direction. It's a massive step in the right direction, and it really has given me a lot of hope for where the game is going. But there you go. Something more positive for a change. I've taken note of the ratio of heavy critique to positive videos I've made recently, and I'm going to try to put my opinions back in the box for a little while and only speak out on things that I think are really egregious and that need immediate action, and focus more on guide content. I've almost got a solo series of guides ready to upload right now, so stay on the lookout for that. Much love, everyone. And if you told me to shut up about the overclock issue, stay mad. We won. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.